many women were coming to me complaining about all the things, not only losing fat. They were always complaining about, I'm not having energy, I'm not sleeping well, I'm having that puffiness in my legs, I'm feeling exhausted, I'm really stressed out, I'm not having patience. And then I was noticing that a pattern, because once they are 35, 40, 50 years old, now they are working, now they had kids, their hormones are different, their gut microbiome are different. And because of that, the inflammation more likely to be high, just because of age as well. So the root cause of many women are reducing the inflammation, and they never, that's a surprise for many women, by the way.
Tiago, how long have you been with your partner?
13 years.
13 years
minimum.
Together.
Yeah.
And what is the secret, Tiago?
Yeah, because it was literally when you feel in your heart that came from God, that was a revelation. After a lot of battles, a lot of struggles to stay together, you notice that no, you have that feeling deep inside, that's the one. I would be fool, not wise at all, if I was seeking my happiness from another person and without having the same faith, right? So I think that's the secret, like being aligned spiritually.
So guys, I'm here today with Tiago, one of my mates since we were really young. I met him decades ago. We both had so much more hair in that time.
Yes, a lot of hair.
Yes, and I am excited to speak with you and hear a little bit about your journey. And my friend, you were my first guest. Tiago, tell me, man, how are you feeling today? Do you like living in this beautiful country?
Man, it's a dream. I've came to Australia just to visit my friends 2007. And then since then, when I came back to Brazil, I've decided, no, I have to do something to to go back to Australia. And then I spent like 10 years trying to persuade at that time, my girlfriend, their family. And then thank God in 2017, we came to Australia, but it was like literally more than 10 years to convince. And I'm really happy to be here as well. It's a dream come true. Now we are in the same city, right? Living in the same city.
You were in Sydney before, now you're in the Gold. I always say Gold Coast is Sydney 30 years ago, 20 years ago. He's like, it's so amazing here. Anytime that you want to use anything public, there's so much room for you. Yeah. But Tiago, man, how long have you been with your partner?
2007. Just count.
You have been with her.
Yeah. So
for nearly 20 years.
We split like twice or three times.
Tiago, what did you do, Chiqui?
Yeah. After like a revelation from God,
you stick together.
We are together since I think like straight minimum like 13 years.
13 years
minimum.
Together.
Yeah.
And what is the secret, Tiago? I look at you guys, I see your son. We're going to talk about your son, how you parent too. There's a lot of content for your social media too. Because you have a massive following, women that like seeing health. People are not going to believe this is just a insight. His kid never even look at a screen. Like you're really, I don't like, Anyway, mine was already coming out of the belly. Hey, get the Roblox, go play. Just kidding. But anyway, so I want to hear about this. So first, how did you, 13 years, nearly 20 years, how you guys been together? And I can tell you guys never going to break up. It's easy to say.
Yeah, because it was literally when you feel that's coming like in your heart that came from God, that was a revelation. After a lot of battles, a lot of struggles to stay together, you notice that no, you have that feeling deep inside, that's the one. And then it doesn't make any sense. You keep seeking, because at that time I was seeking. When we met, probably we were 15, 16 years old.
Yes, we were teenagers.
Right? Like super easy to do wrong stuff, especially with women, not being loyal to the same woman at that 15, 16, 17 years old. But when it's coming from God, when you really feel deep inside, it's gonna be, I would be fool, not wise at all, if I was seeking my happiness from another person and without having the same faith, right? Because she's Christian as well. So I think that's the secret, being aligned spiritually.
So you guys are Muslims? Sorry,
no,
just kidding.
No, we are Christians. Yeah, my father was a pastor.
Yes.
So we are believers. Since I was born in that environment, so that was extremely helpful.
So you believe that's
that's my confidence.
Your superpower. You have faith. You have trust in God.
Yeah.
You always
Even
do.
to choose the woman
You
that would
choose
live
the
forever.
woman you believe that's yeah. I always say this, man. There's something that I always say. Humans, we are designed to overthink a lot the bad things. My brain, I designed my brain and rewire through the years to overthink the good things. Does that make sense? Because you can also overthink what can go well.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah,
You can always overthink, and I believe that once you start to overthink what is good and you start to be positive, then you start to being grateful because you start to see the world and the universe and God is working for you. And I always say this when I talk about USA guys, Tiago, you would never imagine the guy has 10 properties, made so much since a really young age, always successful, always driving amazing cars. You're always helping other people. You always had this amazing energy that I always enjoy to be around you. We always had an amazing relationship. We never had one argument, one fight. Always there for one another. When I was going through the darkest moments in my life, I always called you.
Right.
Thanks for answering and vice versa.
Yeah.
And man, I want to know, Tiago, I always say that you are maybe even more grateful than me. I see you crying when you walk barefoot on the grass or when you go to the ocean, when you swim.
You are super grateful as well.
I am, but man, I am as
see
well.
you,
But
yeah.
tell me, how are you so grateful, man? I never heard you complaining. You don't complain.
I think it's because since the time that I left the bubble, the place that I was born was a place that people used to talk about the same stuff, having the same beliefs, always in a bubble. And then I thought that was the way to live life. But since I came to Australia, so I traveled by myself without having any English. Like I spent like 8 hours in each airport, like sleeping, but I was like 17 years old. So since at that time, 2007, I got out from that bubble, and then I noticed there are many other things to appreciate. And then I started noticing, no, there are many things that I have to be grateful for. It doesn't make sense. I'm scared of corruption, violence, and everything. And that was one of the main reasons why I left my hometown and then I decided to come to Australia. Once I came to Australia, 2017, that was the moment that I started noticing. I started to create my own bubble. And then I started appreciating more. I had space to appreciate more things, simple things, like going to the park and then crying just because I was seeing a bee going to the flower.
Oh my
Super
gosh.
extreme, like
Wow.
really simple stuff. And I was noticing that joy that I was feeling was not giving me less than, nothing was beating compared to even like my business, anything else outside of those simple things was giving me more joy. And then I noticed, no, I have to protect that because I know it's easy we lose that. So I've decided that every single week I need to have the me time by myself, the solitude moment, close to nature, because if you notice all our nutrients, everything from us come to nature from the micro to the macro, from the planets, the galaxies is the same material, right? The same molecules that we find in all the plants we find here with us. So connect to what's natural. So nature is natural to us, we recognize. And then I do this, I make sure that every day I do this. Because if I stay in the office throughout the whole day, it's hard to become grateful. It's much harder. If I keep focusing on the problems, it's hard to become grateful if I'm always focused on work or problems.
What is your purpose? You're always in the health industry. Since a really young age, I remember you were a personal trainer, a real personal trainer. There was not the online world back then.
Yeah.
You know, now you are online trainer that you help women achieving a better life.
Yes. I've done human physiology, a bachelor's degree in human physiology, and then I became like a coach, especially personal trainer. And then I've done like over 100 courses, 100 certifications, because I was noticing that many women were coming to me, not men, for some reason, women, but complaining about all the things. Not only, they never came just complaining about losing fat, but they were always complaining about, I'm not having energy. I'm not sleeping well. I'm having that puffiness in my legs. I'm feeling exhausted. I'm really stressed out. I'm not having patience. And then I was noticing that a pattern. And then I was studying. I started studying about women's physiology because it's different to men. How women has the capacity, incredible capacity of dealing with many things at the same time. But the problem is because pain, we are supposed to, there is a really famous sentence saying that pain is the weakness leaving the body. And we are supposed to let the pain, like we learn from pain, but we cannot hold that. And women, even having that capacity of handling a lot of stress, handling a lot of pain, multitasking, like handling a lot of problems. But if they don't release it, they can literally suffer and create inflammation. And then that's why inflammation in different ways in their bodies. And then that's why I've decided to focus on women's health, because I was noticing the inflammation was the root cause of most of their issues, especially women over 35 years old.
Wow, Tiago. I didn't know this. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Tiago, why do so many career-driven women suddenly gain belly fat in their late 30s and 40s, even though they're eating the same and exercising?
It's because they are still focusing on things that used to work for them in the past. They are following the same diet, the same exercise, and they don't know that the inflammation in their bodies are the main root cause, the things that they need to prioritize to reduce. Because once they are 35, 40, 50 years old, and now they are working, now they had kids, their hormones are different, their gut microbiome are different. And because of that, the inflammation is more likely to be high, just because of age as well. So the root cause of many women are reducing the inflammation. And they never, that's a surprise for many women, by the way. It's a big surprise for many women. Inflammation is like a mechanism of survival. And when women are just focusing on simple diets and simple exercises, and they let the inflammation increase, Tiago, signs of inflammation, that's the main difference. There is a good inflammation and a bad inflammation. That most women don't know that. A good inflammation is acute inflammation. If you hurt your finger, there will be an inflammation happening for you to repair the tissue. That's good. That's acute inflammation. We are talking here about the bad guy, the bad one. We call low-grade chronic inflammation. The one that's in silence, that's increasing more insulin resistance. Many women struggle to lose weight. Everything becomes harder. They are already in calorie deficit. They are already eating more protein. They are already eating more salad. They are forced, like exercising harder, but their bodies, the belly fat is still there. Why? Because just by having the belly fat, increase inflammation. That's another thing. Many women don't know that. Having belly fat, it means that the inflammation is increasing in your body. Why? Because the inflammation, inflammation is your immune system literally releasing molecules that are inflammatory. And then the more belly fat, it means visceral fat. The more belly fat, visceral fat, the immune system will start literally releasing molecules that are inflammatory. And then these will go to your bloodstream. And these start messing up many things, including your hormones. That's why women, when they have a lot of belly fat, they have a lot of accumulation of visceral fat, they have insulin resistance. That's why they start having signs of inflammation in their brain. Many women don't know that as well. Like mental fatigue, start forgetting things, lack of patience, always struggling, like having brain fog, is because that inflammation that started in their visceral fat, because they didn't treat the root cause, spending years with that problem, the inflammation was increasing, and that molecules we call interleukin-6, TNF-alpha, a lot of molecules go to the bloodstream, passes through the blood-brain barrier. That's a protection that our brain has, because otherwise, imagine a particle of a broccoli, if the person has leaky gut in their gut, would pass and get in their brain. So there is a protection, blood-brain barrier. But because of that inflammation is happening for years, those molecules, inflammatory molecules, go to their brain, get in, and then activate more inflammation. Why?
My goodness.
Because we have soldiers. Everybody has soldiers in their brains called microglia. So these microglia, they are always paying attention to what's going on, any threat, any virus. Because imagine a virus, a bacteria, a fungus get in your brain. You would die.
So what are they called?
microglia.
So let's
They're
say
soldiers.
someone that is vaping, every puff, the microglia gets crazy. Something's going on.
Yeah, the
Something's
inflammation
going on.
in this case, the inflammation will start in their lungs. So that's the difference. The inflammation can
I'm
start.
understanding.
The inflammation can start in any part of your body. In women, especially in women, because women have that hormonal fluctuation. So women, that what I said, women, because they have that superpower of handling more stress. They have more power of
so much more
multitasking, right? But at the same time, they have that power of ruminating too many thoughts, and all these things. If they don't release it, they will accumulate. We call pollution. That's why we say a solution for pollution is dilution. So you really need to get rid of it, to dilute all this accumulation of thoughts.
And our human body is amazing. Our human body can. How crazy someone that is 300 kilos can suddenly, after a lot of consistent hard work, have a healthy, perfect body. How amazing. We have the ability to regenerate and to, as you said, to...
And for this, is important to have motivation. That's a mistake that happens. Many people mention about, you don't need motivation. Consistency is more important. That's wrong in neuroscience. Why? Because motivation, everybody needs to know what motivation means. Motivation means motive for taking action. The reason why I'm taking that action. If there is no benefit for that action that I'm taking, of course, I will stop doing, even if I'm extremely strict in my, I'm super disciplined, but it doesn't matter. So the secret is motivation, the confusion that people has. Motivation, you don't need to feel good to have motivation. If your son comes here, someone puts a gun in front of your son and say, I'm going to shoot him if you don't transfer $10 million to my bank account in the next hour. What's going to happen? Even with a really bad feeling right now, scared, like you will not feel happy at all, your motivation to solve the problem will be extremely high, level 10. So high motivation to fix the problem. So why is that important? Because for anybody who wants to reduce the inflammation, to have like a consistent result, they need to have motivation, but the motivation, it's detached to their emotions. Even without feeling good, they need to have motivation. What's the secret for the motivation to be high? They need to remember every day the reason why they need to do what they have to do. The reason why, because many times
Tiago, you're
we
giving
forget.
Me gold. Thank you for sharing. This is knowledge. This is wisdom. Wow, thank you.
Yeah, people forget the reason why they're doing what they are doing, and that's why they stop, because they literally forget. Women, they always miss the puzzle because they are not having the holistic approach. Reducing the inflammation, strengthen their gut microbiome, and balancing their hormones naturally. And everything starts from what's natural.
It's not a miracle injection. It's not a miracle pill.
If that was, imagine a supplement.
Peptides.
Imagine a supplement solving all these problems. That's a big illusion. That's why people are seeking shortcuts, like one tablet, I'm gonna take it, and they are always in the surface. They are always focused on the symptom, but without treating the root cause. What's gonna happen? Imagine if tomorrow the bacteria in your gut will be different in the morning. Imagine how are you going to deal with all these symptoms if you are not aware of how to adjust your meals based on your bacteria. Because your bacteria decides what you want to eat. Many people don't know that. Your desire for you to eat sweets is not your desire. It's your bacteria's desire.
Otherwise, they die.
Your bacteria controls a lot of behavior, especially the emotional part as well.
An external bacteria that lives in my body.
In your gut microbiome, you have 100 trillion. Everyone has.
How many we have?
So we have groups of bacteria. If they are imbalanced, we call this. If the environment, that ecosystem has like dysbiosis, you are feeding. Let's say you are eating the same exact food, so you're gonna feed one type of bacteria. It means that this imbalance that we call dysbiosis, sooner or later will start giving you problems. Let's say you love sweets, and then after few time you are eating sweets. You are feeding specific groups of bacteria because of that. And then let's say you are forgetting to feed the healthy bacteria, the ones that will give you happiness. Why I'm saying happiness? Because neurotransmitters that make you feel happy, hormones that make you feel happy, they come from the production of what the bacteria in your gut produce, the poop of the bacteria, what we call short-chain fatty acids. So You feed your bacteria. When you are eating fiber, for example, you are not feeding yourself. You are feeding your bacteria. So they are going to have that fiber. They are going to poop. And that poop is called short-chain fatty acids. One of these short-chain fatty acids is called butyrate, crucial for our metabolism, for our health, overall health, to reduce inflammation. So if you ask, what's one of the most powerful ways to reduce inflammation in the gut? One of the most powerful way, increasing butyrate. Increasing, like what do you need to do? Help your bacteria to produce and to poop more this type of short-chain fatty acids.
And how you do this?
First, you need to guarantee that you don't have leaky gut. So that's the first thing that women have a lot.
Leaky gut one
Yeah,
time.
a lot of men has as well.
I fixed that.
But leaky gut is when you have holes in the gut lining.
My
And
gosh,
because
I
of that,
had this.
and why this happens? One of the reasons, there are many reasons, but one of the reasons, chronic stress is one of the reasons. Forgetting to eat what you're supposed to eat to strengthen the gut lining. A simple lack of vitamin D, or simple you're not having enough glutamine from the food, from protein. Just by not having enough protein throughout the day, you can have deficiency of many things. Many people, that's another thing. Many people think, protein is just because I need to lose fat. No, that's a big illusion. It's not only that. There are so many things that the protein is important, including for your hormones. Without enough protein, you're not having enough tyrosine, an amino acid for your thyroid. For you to speed up your metabolism, you need a healthy thyroid. You don't have healthy thyroid if you're not having enough tyrosine. Where do you find tyrosine? In protein that you're not consuming enough, right? So if we don't have that holistic approach, we don't fix the gut. So the first thing to fix the gut is avoiding leaky gut. So leaky gut is there are many reasons. You start having leaky gut because you eat the same food. So not mixing, not having variety of food create leaky gut sooner or later. Chronic stress.
Really?
Yes. And most people have that issue of going to the supermarket. They create like a habit of buying the same exact vegetable, the same exact food. After some time, that's why many people come to me and say, Tiago, I have no idea. I never had any symptom of inflammation, gut issue, never, 10 years ago. I don't understand why I have now. And then I say, of course, it was just sooner or later you would have that. Why? Because I'm seeing your style, you're eating the same food every single day. And you are not feeding variety of bacteria to strengthen that population. So that's the first thing. Chronic stress.
Thanks for teaching. I like learning those things.
How many people are chronic stressed? It's not when you exercise, you get stressed out. It's normal. It's healthy and it's good.
Good stress.
Good stress because they stress. The cortisol spikes. Boom. What's your goal? Make that cortisol to drop as fast as possible. Same thing with insulin. Insulin is amazing. We need insulin. Otherwise, we would die fast without insulin. But the goal is to spike the insulin, but drop the insulin as fast as possible as well. The problem is because people are keeping their insulin high for too long in their blood, cortisol high for too long in their blood. So this is also all the reasons why people have leaky gut. Because of that leaky gut, all the inflammation starts. And why is that? Because leaky gut, you have holes in the gut lining. It means that you eat a broccoli, you eat any food, the particle of the food can pass through the gut line, go to your bloodstream. Now you get ready. Now you're going to cry. Because your immune system will wake up. You woke up the giant. You're going to wake up the immune system. The soldiers that are supposed to protect you, they are going to attack yourself just because you...
That's what is autoimmune disease means.
Exactly. So many people have autoimmune disease and everything started from their gut because they didn't...
Or you can be born with this as well,
of course.
My fiance.
Exactly. But the crazy part is because most people those people who didn't pay attention to their habits, they started creating that autoimmune disease because of that lack of knowledge.
That's why I hear
from their gut microbiome.
I hear this the whole time.
How many people are having more autoimmune disease? Hashimoto. Imagine Hashimoto is your immune system attacking your own thyroid glands. Why? Because the person started having leaky gut. Something was passing through the gut lining, a molecule of food, or even of bacteria, fungus, anything. That the crazy part is anything. Activating the immune system, dendritic cells, macrophage, and then releasing inflammatory molecules that we call like interleukin-6. You can do a blood test. You can check some inflammatory markers. But that's another mistake.
I already done this.
many people, they feel, they say, I don't have inflammation, Tiago. And then I say, are you sure you don't have inflammation? They say, yes, I'm sure because my doctor showed me here, my CRP levels, my blood work is normal. That's another big mistake that people make. They think that one blood marker is enough to check chronic inflammation. That's wrong. This is for acute inflammation. For you to see if you have chronic inflammation or not, there are some other blood markers that you need to check, including, for example, interleukin-6, fibrinogen, and other markers, ferritin, but people always focus on one thing, and highly sensitive C-reactive protein, CRP. But that's one of the reasons why women, they struggle to sustain their fat loss because of that. They are not 20 years old anymore. 20 years old, 30 years old, you stay in calorie deficit, easy. You fix the problem, you sustain that, right? You treated your gut for years. You are always focusing on the variety of food, like you are really taking care of your gut. You are keeping the inflammation stable, and you did this for decades. It's going to be easy you sustain your fat loss when you hit perimenopause, when you hit postmenopause. Why is that? Why women always struggle when they hit perimenopause and postmenopause especially? Because estrogen drops is the hormone that is responsible to distribute the fat. That's why many women come to me and say, I don't understand. I'm now 40 years old. The concentration of my fat is here in my belly. Why is that? Because you lost estrogen. Your ovaries are not producing enough estrogen anymore. They're responsible to distribute the fat that you have in your body. Now everything's accumulated in the belly. So if women don't pay attention to connect all the dots of their hormones, their gut, their inflammation, if they just keep repeating what used to work when they were 20, they are going to feel frustrated. Like lack of patience, insomnia, hot flashes, many symptoms.
Wow. Thanks for the talk, Tiago. It was good for us. Yeah, going good. Nice to catch up with my mate.